terakhir kita before middle test. Nah, nanti ingatkan saya, remind me to share the information about your middle test ya, Bapak Ibu. Mungkin langsung saja kita directly come to the group presentation. Presentasi akan kita cek nanti at the end of the class. Silahkan kelompok berapa ya Bapak Ibu? Ini ada Ibu Fitri,
Group.
Bu Nurlina, sama Bu Rahmati, Kurota Aini. Silakan.
Okay, yes. Good morning, Dr. Mayang Pipit, SPDM,
Morning.
as a lecturer of Advanced and Functional Linguistics. We are from Group 6. Now we are going to the presentation or discussion about functional grammar, systematic functional linguistics, or SFL. Our group consists of 3 members. The first one is myself. My name is Fitri Maulidia as a first speaker. And the second one is Miss Nurlina. And the last one is Rahmati Kurota Aini. Okay, without further ado, let's come to the outline. Next slide. This presentation or discussion is divided into 5 parts. The first one is the history. The second one is text, genre, and register. The third one is introduction to lexicogrammar. The fourth one is terms in SFL. And the last one is examining research in syntax based on SFL. Next one. Okay, the first is the history. Systematic functional grammar or SFG or systematic functional linguistic or SFL is a linguistic theory primarily developed by Michael Halliday starting in the 1960s. It views language as a social and functional tool for making meaning, drawing on influences from linguistic like G.R. Ford and the Prague School and Bronislaw Malinowski. The history of SFL is characterized by its focus on how language is used in context, its systematic nature as a set of choices, and its expansion into various fields like critical discourse, analysis, and education. So, as we know from the story, from the history, Michael Halliday, as the main architect of SFL, Halliday saw language as a resort for making meaning and developed the theory to analyze how this meaning making happens in social context. Unlike formal grammar, SFL's primary concern is how language is used to make meaning in specific social and cultural contexts. Next one. Okay, this one is about text. Text in functional grammar, text is a stretch of language that has a social purpose, and its analysis it shapes by the concepts of genre and register. A text is a connected stretch of language that is more than just a random collection of words. It is analyzed to understand its social function and how it achieves its purpose. Text divided into 2 kinds. The first one is written text, and the second one is spoken and multimodal text. This one, the first one is written text used for literary, informational, instructional, and business or official. Example of literally are used for novels, poems, plays, or short stories. And informationals is used for news articles, textbooks, scientific journals, or biographies. An example of instructional use are for cookbooks or recipes, user manuals, or a set of recipes. And the last one is business or official, used for a bill, a business report, or a legal document. Next slide. Okay, the second one is text for spoken and multimodal text. Spoken and multimodal text used for conversation, songs, speeches, broadcast, and visual text. Conversation used for a dialogue between 2 or more people. songs used for the lyric and melody of a song and considered a text, speeches used for a political speech or a public address, broadcasts used for radio or television programs, and visual text used for a map, a political cartoon, or an advertisement can also be considered text because they use linguistic and non-linguistic symbols to communicate meaning. Next slide. And this one about genre. Genre refers to the stage, purposeful social process that a text represents, like a news report or a recipe, which is determined by the social context of culture. So, genre is the highest level context of culture, variable and refers to the overall purpose of the text and its recognizable structure. The genre represents a stage, purposeful, and social process, and is a culture convention for achieving goals. For example of genre used for everyday and professional genres, such as recipe, personal letter, police report, and scientific paper. A recipe is a set of instructions for preparing a specific dish. Personal letter is an informal communication with a friend or family member. Police report is a formal, factual account of an incident. And scientific paper is a formal report of research findings. Next one. Genre divide into three, and the second one is literary and creative genre. We can find in poetry, drama, fiction, mystery or thriller, and fairy tale.
Lah, mana?
Poetry is a literature from
Rusak nanti tuh. Nabrak.
to convey meaning. Drama is a story told through dialogue and action, often for theatrical performance. Fiction, a broad category that includes novels, short stories, and other narratives. Mystery and thriller is a genre focused on suspense and crime. And the last fairy tale is a story often with magical elements for children. And the last one is academic and expository genre, such as academic essay is used for a written argument or analysis on a specific topic. Textbook article is used for a section of a textbook providing information on a subject. News story is used for a factual report on current events, and descriptive writing is used for a genre that focuses on describing a person, place, or thing in a detail. Next slide. Next one is register. Register is the subcategory of genre that refers to the context of a specific situation. Register defined by three variables, such as field, tenor, and mode. What is field? Field is about the subject matter and activities involved. Tenor is the relationship between the participants, including social roles, power dynamics, and emotional involvements. Mode is the role of the language is playing, such as, for example, if it's spoken or written, and the level of interaction. Next slide. So what is the relationship between register and genre? Register is the more immediate and concrete manifestation of the broader context of culture that genre represents. Both genre register work together to determine the structure, style, and linguistic features of a text to ensure it is appropriate for its social purpose. Okay, next subject will be explained by Miss Nurlina.
No,
Miss Emma.
Yes. I'm the last
Can
one.
you hear my voice?
Yes,
No?
yes,
Yes,
Emma,
clear.
hear you.
Okay.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Rahmati Kurataini as the second speaker, and my student number is 20, 24, 74, 79, 006. Now, I'm going to explain about introduction to lexical grammar. As we can see here, lexical grammar is a term used in systemic functional linguistics, or SFL, to describe the interconnected relationship between vocabulary or lexis and grammar. It emphasizes that these two components are not separate systems, but rather two ends of a single continuum where grammatical patterns and lexical choice work together to create meaning in context. Meanwhile, according to Holiday in 2014, lexical grammar is the level of linguistic form at which lexis and grammar are integrated into a single stratum, the wording, and it is through the lexical grammar that meanings are turned into wording. In other words, lexical grammar show how words and sentence structure function together to release meaning not just made by word or by grammar alone, but it is also by their interaction and actual language use. Okay, the next one I'm going to explain about concept, but before we go into concept, I want to tell you there is 3 meta function. According to Halliday, language serves 3 meta function and all realize through lexical grammar. The first one is ideational, which is represent experience and idea through transitivity system, and the second one is interpersonal, build and maintain social relation that show from mood and modality, and the third one is textual, which is organize information into coherent message through theme, rhyme, and cohesion. And the next one, there are 4 concepts of lexical grammar. The first one is transitivity or ideational function. The second one is mood and modality or interpersonal function. The third one is theme and rhyme or textual function. And the last one is grammatical metaphor. And now, I'm going to explain more about this concept of lexical grammar. The first one, there is transitivity or ideational function. This transitive system explains about how experience is represented. How experience is represented through 3 ways: process, participant, and circumstance. Process tells about what is happening that's shown from the verb used in a sentence or clause. And participants tells who or what is involved, which it can be seen from the subject that used in a sentence or a clause. And circumstance tells the background details or conditions surrounding the process, and it can be seen from the adverb place, adverb of time, or manners that used in a sentence or the clause. And there is an example. The teachers explain the lesson clearly. The teachers is participant as an actors, and the explain it is the process, show the process, and the lesson is the goals of the sentence, and the circumstance is clearly. Clearly is a manner that show how the actor or the action done by the actors or participant. Okay. The next one is mode and modality. Mode and modality belongs to interpersonal metafunction, which is concerned with how language is used to interact. The first is mode. Mode expresses the speaker's role and relationship with the listener through clause type. And the clause type are declarative clause, interrogative clause, and imperative clause. The declarative clause function is information, and the example is she is a teacher. And the next one, interrogative clause function is to asking or demanding question. For example, is she? And the next one is imperative. The function of this clause is giving command, demanding good or service, and can be request something. For example, be quiet or eyes on me. It's pay attention to me. About likelihood, obligation, or desirability of what we are saying. And it also adds shade of meaning such as certainty, possibility, necessity, or permission. In other words, modality show the degrees of certainty will come. This clause indicate a high degree of certainty that she will come, or quite certain. And the second one is she might come. And this sentence or this clause indicate a lower degree of certainty or possibility. Or it can be said less certain. The third one is she must come. It shows indicates a very high degree of a strong obligation that she has to come. Okay. Going to explain Tim and Rim. Tim and Rim are part of textual metafunction. Information is organized in a clause to make a message flow logically and coherently. As we can see here, Tim is what is the starting point or point of departure. Tim is part of the clause that introduces the subject or the information we discussed in the clause. What is said about the starting point or the rest of the message. Rim is show the rest of the message that complete the information by the team. The example is climate change affect agricultures. The theme is climate change. Climate change is the starting point of the clause or the topic that what is the clause is talking about. And affect agriculture. Affect agricultures is give the new information or said about the theme or climate change. Okay, now the last one is grammatical metaphor. Okay, according to Haldane 2014, grammatical metaphor occurs when meanings are expressed in incongruent way that is proof of grammatical structures not typically associated with the meaning. And there are four types of grammatical metaphor. The first one is ideational grammatical metaphor, and the second one is interpersonal grammatical metaphor. The ideatical grammatical metaphor focus on how is how an experience is represented meta function and commonly involve normalization. Normalization is turning process verb to noun. Grammatical metaphor focus on how attitude, judgment, and meaning are expressed, which related to interpersonal meta function. And it's often involve modulation, or projected clause, such as using mental or verbal process to express opinion politely. And here is the example of ideational grammatical metaphor and interpersonal grammatical metaphor. Okay, we're going to the first one, ideational, the congruent equal. The teachers explain the concept. And the metaphoric example is teacher's explanation of the concept was clear. As we can see here, metaphoric, grammatical metaphoric is changing a verb explain into a noun explanation. This makes sentence more conscious and it's often used in formal writing. The second one is interpersonal grammatical metaphor, and the example is, you must come early. It shows direct obligation, it is modal must. And the metaphoric example is, it's necessary for you to come earlier. It shows statement about importance because the example is used necessary. So, the metaphoric changing must as the direct command into it's necessary as statement about importance or a condition. So, it makes sound more polite or formal. Okay, that's about like the next materials will be explained by Miss Norlina. The time is yours.
Yes, Miss. Another slide, please. Thank you. I will explain about the term in SFL. What is SFL? I think it has been explained in the beginning by Ms. Fitri that SFL, or Systemic Functional Linguistics, is a theory of language developed mainly by M.A.K. Halliday, especially in Halliday and Matthiesen, 2014. It views language not only as a set of rules or structures, but as a social semiotic system, a resource people use to make meaning in social contexts. So in SFL, every linguistic choice, such as word praise, clause structure, and etc., is seen as a meaningful choice rather than a random or purely grammatical one. And number two, what does term mean in SFL? In general linguistics, a term is a specialized concept or label used within a theory. In SFL, however, the word term has a specific technical meaning depending on the level of analysis. It refers to a concept of unit that represent a particular function in the system of language. So when we say term in SFL, we are usually talking about key theoretical concept or the terms that describe how language works functionally. Next slide, Miss. Then, yes, here are about 9 terms related in SFL. The first one is the system. A system in SFL is a set of choice available to a speaker or writer. Language is viewed as the network of system or a system network, not just a set of rules. Example, in a mood system, you can choose between declarative, interrogative, or imperative, each realizing a different kind of meaning. For example, you are coming It is a declarative, and the function is giving information. Are you coming? It is an interrogative, and the function is demanding or asking about information. And the second is the function. Every unit of language serves a function. It does something communicatively or grammatically. Function can be semantic or meaning-based, or syntactic or structure-based. And the third is rank scale. SFL organizes language into ranks or hierarchical levels from the higher to the lowest, such as the clause into the group, phrase, and word to morpheme. Each higher rank consists of one or more lower rank units. Next, Miss. It is the fourth ideational meta function. Language used to express ideas and experience. What is happening, who is involved, and how. For example, the teacher explained the lesson clearly. The action is explained, and the participant is the teacher, and the thing is the lesson. It is for ideational meta function. And number two, it is interpersonal meta function. Language used to interact with others, show attitude, and build relationship. For example, could you help me, please? It is considered as polite request to negotiate social relationship. And number three, textual meta function. Language used to organize ideas so the message is clear and coherent. For example, however, the result was different. The connector, however, organized the message for clarity. Next, Miss. And the next term is theme and rhyme. It has been explained by the previous presenter also. Within the textual meta function, the theme is the starting point of a clause, what it is about, while the rhyme carries new information. For example, the teacher gave homework. The theme is the teacher, and the rhyme gave homework. It is only in brief explanation because it has been explained before by Emma. The next, it is about the process, participant, and circumstance. In the ideational meta function, the clause represents a process of experience through this term. The first is process. It is the action or state. For example, runs quickly. And the second is participant, the people or the thing involved. For example, he runs. The participant here is he. And the circumstance is additional information. It can be time, place, or manner. For example, run in the park, or he runs quickly. Next, it is transitivity system. Describe how processes are presented. Typically 6 main types: the material, mental, relational, verbal, behavioral, and existential. The next, Miss. This is the two last, mood and modality, part of the interpersonal meta function, describing how speakers exchange information or goods and service. Mood, grammatical structure of interaction, subject or finite. The modality, degree of certainty or obligation, for example, must, may, or probably. And the last one, it is cohesion and coherence. In the textual meta function, SFL explains how texts hang together through cohesive devices. Belong to cohesion and coherence or reference. It can be pronouns, he, is, or the declarative like this, ellipsis or omission, and the conjunction such as and, but, and the lexical cohesion such as repetition or synonymy. Next, Miss. And this is the last topic, examining research in syntax based on SFL. Examining research in syntax based on SFL means reviewing how studies analyze grammatical structures, especially the clause, to understand how language creates meaning in context. Instead of focusing on rules or sentence correctness, SFL-based syntax research look at how grammar functions to express the ideational meaning. It means how clauses represent experience, such as who does, and what, to whom, when, and why. And the second is interpersonal meaning. It tells about how grammar builds relationship, attitude, and level of formality. And the last one is textual meaning. Tells about how information is organized to make a message clear and coherent. When examining this research, the focus is on how scholars use SFL tools, such as transitivity, mood, and modality, and the team RIM analysis to investigate real text. As an example, news, speeches, classroom talk, and essay. The goal is to see how a syntactic choice shape the meaning, influence the reader or the listeners, and serve the purpose of the text. I think that's all our explanation for this time. Ms. Fitri, it is for a Q&A question maybe?
Okay, I
Excuse
think
me,
that's all.
excuse me. There is no example for the research that's apply SFL. You
I
got?
forgot.
Contoh realnya ada?
Yes,
Mana?
should be an example. Should
Yeah.
be an example.
Yeah, we forget.
Minute.
You forgot it?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Iya, ya.
Should be attached an example.
Iya, jadi bagaimana
Yes.
menerapkannya di dalam research ya. Nah, itu tadi
Yes,
itu.
ma'am.
Theoretically that's okay. That's also it's quite good ya. Complete enough. Cuma ada beberapa tadi yang mungkin nanti akan saya tambahkan. Tapi kita perlu the real example ya.
Minute.
Contohnya
I
how to
will
apply.
search.
Mungkin
I will
ada ya
search.
Bu. Ya oke silakan.
Ada, tapi sebentar, ma'am. Aku cari dulu ya.
Oke.
Ada. Cuma kemarin pertimbangannya aduh terlalu banyak, akhirnya hanya
Nggak
hanya
apa-apa.
sebatas teoretikal saja.
Iya, itu ini penting banget. Biar teman-teman tahu ya how to
Minute ya,
do.
ma'am.
Oh ya,
Yes,
this theory in research. Oke, silakan Bu.
Just a minute. It is about
Oh, saya baru sadar itu foto kita ya di kelas ya.
yeah, yes,
That's good.
betul. Term in
Oke.
NSFL. Minute.
Saya mau dong dikirimin ini, saya belum punya.
Boleh, ma'am.
Ini waktu the first class ya?
Yes,
Nurina ya.
in the beginning, yes, in
At
the
the
first.
beginning, yes, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nice.
Yes, a minute, ma'am. Sudah buat sih sebetulnya, sebentar ya. Aku cari dulu karena kebanyakan ini. Research in SFL. Contohnya. Itu analisisnya dalam sentence ya, ma'am?
Ya, bisa, oke.
Oke. For example,
Sentence, oke, silakan.
in a sentence ya. Kalau dibacakan saja, is it okay, ma'am?
Takutnya teman-teman tidak melihat ya.
Oke.
Jadi,
A minute.
kalau misal dari
Mislina
research
mau
sendiri
share
ada nggak?
screen?
Iya,
Nah,
benar.
kalau
Research-nya
research
nggak ada.
kayaknya kalau research kan kita sentence aja, ma'am, gimana? Boleh nggak sih?
Ya boleh sih.
Kebanyakan sih kita dari sentence aja karena lebih simple ya, ma'am. Kalau research kan kita butuh pendalaman lagi ya.
Ya, tapi kita bisa melihat alurnya seperti
Betul.
apa, misalnya di
Betul.
dalam speech, misalnya newspaper, right?
Betul,
Kemudian
ma'am.
political text, iya itu bagus banget sih sebetulnya.
Betul.
Mungkin nanti bisa disusul ya,
Iya.
Nurina dan teman ya. Kalau sekarang nggak apa-apa, silakan coba.
Sentence aja ya,
Oke.
sebentar. A minute. A minute ya.
Miss Lina mungkin mau share screen atau bagaimana?
Boleh? Share screen aja dulu ya.
Matikan ya
Pakai
share
sentence
screen-nya ya.
Iya, sentence ya.
Ya,
A
saya
minute.
matikan ya share screen-nya ya.
Yes.
Oke.
Minute ya. Nah, seperti ini. Saya share screen dulu sebentar. Jadi contohnya hanya yang this one. Nah, ini. Only like this, ma'am. Is it okay? Just like this. Is it true?
Sentence-nya yang mana, Bu?
Sentence-nya
yang
the
dibedah.
government,
Oke,
yes,
increase the fee. Oke, nggak apa-apa, silakan dijelaskan.
the government increased the fuel price last month.
Last month, oke.
Yes, the SFL aspect it is yeah.
You zoom
Ya, Pak?
zoom out tuh.
Persentasenya dibesar.
A minute. Saya nyari di mana ya?
Di bawah Ibu yang persen itu.
Pojok bawah.
100% itu di plus aja.
Ini ya.
Ya,
Oke.
pencet.
Gimana sih? Sebentar. Ini is it too large maybe ya?
Iya.
Nah,
Nah,
gimana
kayak
kalau segini? Cukup? Nanti saya scroll aja ya. Cukup, Pak? Okay. The government increased the fuel price last month. The SFL aspect, it is
transitivity.
Yes, transitivity consists of the actor, the process, the goal, and the circumstance. The analysis is the actor is the government, and the process is increase. And the goal is the fuel price. The circumstance, it talk about the time last month. And the meaning revealed shows an action done by an authority to the public, places responsibility on the government because they want to increase the fuel price. Okay. Next, about the mood. Mood consists of mood type, subject, finite, and modality. The mood type is a declarative, or maybe we can say what is it? Statement, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Statement. Yes, statement, yes. And the subject is the government. The finite is the increase. It is the verb in past tense, and there is no modality. Yeah. There is no modality. And the meaning reveal is present the information as a fact with no doubt or opinion, creative and objective, authoritative, tone typical of news. And the next is theme and the rhyme. The theme is the government, and the rhyme increased the fuel price last month. Highlight, it is the meaning revealed. Highlight the government as the main focus. Foreground the agent to direct readers' attention toward who did the action. And the last one, overall interpretation. The grammar choices is participants, mood, and the theme work together to construct the meaning. The clause frame the government as responsible encourages acceptance of the information as factual and emphasizes government accountability. Maybe it is not enough, yeah, ma'am. We need a comprehensive application.
Iya ya, oke. Tapi apa ya, overall sudah memberikan sedikit ya. Maksudnya sudah, mudah-mudahan teman-teman bisa membayangkan ya how to apply this theory into language ya. Nah, ini kan sentence ya, gitu. Oke, that's it. Oke. Mungkin nanti disusul penelitiannya ya, Bu ya. Oke. Oke. Ada lagi contoh lain nggak ada ya? The only one. Satu ini aja. Okay. Yuk, mode. Ada ini. Okay, let's come to the Q&A session. Mungkin Bapak Ibu ada yang mau ditanyakan? Okay.
A minute, stop. Anyone want to answer a question? Everyone? Oh, Patuhu. Okay, Patuhu.
Maybe 2 question only ya, Bu ya.
2 question. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Yeah, related with your explanation earlier on theme and rhyme. In your explanation, theme refers to what the clause is about, and then explain what is it about that starting day. And here, I just want to ask your group, how can theme and rim analysis help identify cohesion and coherent strategies in academic writing? It was only about theme and rim. How can theme and rim analysis help identify cohesion and coherent strategies in academic writing? Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mhm. Kecil ya suara Pak Tuhu, saya kurang jelas.
Iya.
Apa di saya doang ya?
Sama, men.
Oh sama ya, oke.
Sama.
I can catch the ideas,
chat
Pak.
dulu ya, saya chat aja di chat
Oh
ya,
ya, boleh.
di grup di Zoom aja.
Okay, the next one, Miss Putri will give the questions. Will give the questions, please.
Okay, thank you, Miss Fitri, for the explanation. It's quite clear. And I have a question here, Miss. Will you please explain how the concept of register and genre are related in systematic functional linguistics? And then, what are their differences and how can they be applied in text analysis? Should I repeat or is that clear, Miss?
Yes,
clear.
how clear.
Clear, yeah? Okay.
How the
Thank you.
concept, yeah, of
Yeah, the
register and
concept.
genre.
Yes,
Okay.
and the differences and how can they be applied?
Okay,
Can
ditambah
be
dulu ya,
applied.
Miss.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next one, Miss Astri.
Only
Only
two
two
questions?
questions. Only
Oh,
two
only
questions.
two questions. Okay. Maybe Miss Lina want to answer the question from Patu or myself. Me first, then, Miss.
Okay, go ahead, man.
From Sertuhu, how can theme rim analysis help identify cohesion and coherent strategies in academic writing? Okay. For a while, I try to answer. Theme rim analysis examines how information is organized and developed within a text. Theme is the point of departure of given information, right? And rim is the part that introduce new information. Maybe in academic writing, analyzing theme progression patterns reveals how authors maintain cohesion, linking ideas and coherence, like that from me. And then the second question maybe will be answered by Miss Nurlina or Miss Emma.
Me, it is okay.
Okay.
By me, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lina.
I will try to answer the question. Explain how the concept of register and genre are related in systemic functional linguistics. What are their differences and how can they be applied in text analysis? The answer is in SFL, register and genre are key concepts describing how language varies according to the context. Register refers to language variation based on the situational context, determined by the phrase field tells about what is happening, and the tenor, who is involved, and the mode how communication occurs. The genre refers to the overall structure and social purpose of a text type. For example, it can be narrative, exposition, report, or the procedures. Genre define the overall communication goal and stage organizations of the text, while register shapes the linguistic choices made within those stages. For example, in a recount text, the genre dictates the structure. It's starting with the orientation, and then the second is the events, and the last one is the orientation. While the register determines the use of past tense verbs, the first person pronouns, and the temporal conjunction. I think that's the answer. Hope it can answer the question clearly.
Thank you, Miss.
Yes.
Oke, tadi ada satu lagi ya, siapa? Masih ada waktu. karena jawabannya singkatnya apa-apa. Silakan.
Miss
Mungkin masih bisa.
Asri ya?
Ya, oke.
Oh,
The last one.
ini.
Yeah, I will ask one question. How are the system of transitivity, mode, them interrelated in constructing meaning within a text? It's clear enough. Thank you.
Okay, maybe Emma will give the answer.
Miss Twinnie, can you repeat the question?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Question is, how are the systems of transitivity, mode, and dim interrelated in constructing meaning within a text? It's clear, Miss Emma. I'm sorry, Miss Emma, your mic is off.
Sorry. Okay, the question is, how are the system of transitivity, mood, and dim interrelated in constructing meaning within a text?
A text, yes.
Okay. Thank
Miss
you
Emma.
for the question. I'll try to answer it. The transitivity, mood, and dim system correspondent to the three meta function. Transitivity is related to ideational, mood system related to interpersonal, and the system is related to textual. Transitivity system represent experience through different process type, such as materials, mental, and relational, while mood system express social relationship and attitudes through clause type, such as declarative clause, interrogative clause, and imperative clause, while theme or textual is organized information flow and textual coherence. And three of them interact to produce the overall meaning of the text. For example, in an argumentative essay, too frequent use of mental process such as belief and think, and declarative mood and the thematic focus on opinions reveal the writer's ideological stance and persuasive strategies. Is it clear enough?
It's clear enough, Miss Emma. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think that's enough about our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Please apologize us if there is a mistaken from us. Thank you, Dr. Mayan Pipit, Indiana Bird. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke, thank you very much ya. Grup, ini 7 apa 6 sih kita? Grup 7 ya? 6. Kalian grup berapa? Saya lupa belum.
Meeting 7 in group 6.
6 ya, kelompok 6 ya. Congratulations, you have explained our material today clearly and quite complete ya. Saya mungkin ingin menambahkan sedikit saja. Tadi jawabannya juga oke. I do agree with you. That's okay. You can answer the question well. Sebentar, ini saya ingin menambahkan. Oke. Karena ini masih di ranah syntax. And last week we have discussed about TGG, right? So I would like to highlight the comparison sebetulnya between TGG and SFL. Sebentar. Oke, ini sudah terlihat? Sudah, Bapak Ibu? My screen?
Sudah terlihat.
Oke, thank you. Nah, ini ya, mungkin sedikit saya mau menambahkan additional information about the question tadi. Nah, itu betul, this is a good question, karena ini mungkin bagian yang luput di highlight oleh, kenapa saya nggak bisa slideshow ya? Oke, bagian yang apa yang mungkin sedikit lupa ya tadi hanya a little bit about that tentang registers and context ya. Mungkin saya ingin menambahkan. So SFL emphasizes the connection between language and social context. Nah itu yang harus kita pahami. It identifies 3 variables of registers that impact language choices. Nah choice gitu. Jadi ini ada 3 variabel yang kita harus pahami terkait dengan register and konteksnya Bapak Ibu. Yang pertama adalah field, tenor, and mode. Nah, kenapa saya harus menjelaskan ini? Karena nanti akan relate to the question of your middle test ya. Jadi ini perlu dipahami juga. So, field itu adalah the subject ya. Tadi sudah jelaskan the subject matter or content of the communication. Kemudian tenornya itu adalah the relationship between participants in the communication. Dan bagian hubungan antara partisipan di dalam komunikasi yang dilakukan. Dan kemudian mode. Nah, mode itu adalah the form of communication. Apakah dia spoken atau written. Nah, itu penting ya. Karena perbedaan ini akan menentukan. Akan sangat mempengaruhi nanti dari entah itu choice of the word gitu ya. Dan segalanya. Ya, next kita lihat field sekarang. So, example. Ya, ini ada 2 conversation. Ya, bagaimana kita bisa mengidentify field ini. So, in 2 conversation here. Ini apa? In a science classroom. Satunya di in science classroom, satunya lagi in the coffee shop, right? Nah, kemudian a student might say the water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Nah, kemudian in the coffee shop, the same students might say, can I get a cup of hot water, please? Nah, di sini kita melihat bagaimana field ini ya. In the science classroom, the field of subject ya is scientific and factual. Nah, so the language is formal and precise. Jadi kalau dia konteksnya ada di classroom, di science classroom, maka ini menjadi scientific and factual ya, dan dia harus formal and precise. Tapi kemudian in the coffee shop, di kafe-kafe gitu ya, maka topik yang sama itu menjadi more casual ya, menjadi casual, and the language is adapted to request something practical and everyday. Jadi beda dengan ketika dibicarakan di kelas-kelas akademik ya, atau science classroom. Nah, ini menyatakan tentang field. Oke. Kemudian tenor. Apa itu tenor? Nah, ini example 2 ways of asking someone in close a window untuk hal yang sama tapi kemudian tenornya berbeda ya. Satu to a friend, satu to a teacher. Maka tentu register yang akan kita gunakan akan berbeda. Gitu ya. Kalau untuk ke friend kita bisa menyampaikan, hey, can you close the window? Gitu kan. Tapi kalau ke teacher nggak bisa ya, harus excuse me, could you please close the window? Itu lebih lebih sopan dan lebih halus karena sudah ada strata di situ. Nah, dengan mempertimbangkan tenor ini, kemudian the relationship between the speaker and listener affects the language use. Jadi ini ya sangat mempengaruhi penggunaan bahasa yang digunakan gitu. So speaking to a friend, the language is informal, direct and casual. Sementara with a teacher, the language becomes more polite and respectful, respecting a difference in social roles. Nah, ini mungkin menambahkan ya. Kemudian mode. Nah, ini mode ini. Apakah dia spoken atau written? Nah, ini imagine the information. Ini spoken and written dalam hal medication ya. In a phone call, doctor might say, please make sure to take this medication twice daily after meal. Ini untuk spoken. Nah, terlihat ya Bapak Ibu registernya seperti apa. Tapi in written form, ya di dalam prescription label, itu hanya disebut take 2 tablet daily after meals. Ya, terlihat ya bedanya ya. So in spoken form, the doctor's language might be more conversational and detailed, tapi in written form dia akan lebih concise and formal. Jadi ini ya, the mode itu sangat changes how the information is presented. Itu tambahan untuk registers tadi ya, Bapak Ibu. So language as system of choice ini mungkin kita lewat saja, breaking the concept. Nah, saya mau comparison aja langsung ya TGG and SFL. Nah, sebentar. So in TGG last week we have discussed it. Ya, basic konsepnya apa Bapak Ibu ini? In TGG, syntax is concerned with the rules that govern sentence structure in a way that reflects the mind's innate grammar. Jadi memperlihatkan tuh yang deep structure yang sudah kita bahas sebelumnya. Chomsky's approach focuses on how sentences are generated from an underlying structure or deep structure that is transformed into the actual sentence we speak or write. Ini disebut dengan surface structure. Kemudian tujuannya apa? Ya, TGG aims to explain the mental process that allow us to create and understand an infinite number of sentences in any language, focusing on structure and grammatical rules. Okay. Kemudian, nah, example ini TGG sudah ada sentence generation ya, ini kemarin sudah kita bahas, transformation juga sudah ada, and TGG emphasizes understanding and generating grammatically correct sentences ya. Jadi memang focusing on internalized rules and transformation. Jadi memang fokusnya kepada rules dan bagaimana rules itu ditransformasikan. Oke, karena memang ini tahap awal ya, tapi itu sudah bagus banget gitu untuk meletakkan dasar-dasar sintaksis. Next, kemudian in SFL, nah itu perkembangan ya, Bapak Ibu ada antitesis untuk teori yang lama, kemudian muncul teori-teori yang baru untuk pengembangan yang dikembangkan oleh Halliday ya menjadi memperkaya enrich ya our understanding about syntax. Basic konsepnya apa? Ini SFL, syntax is analyzed based on how language choices express. Jadi tidak lagi kepada rules dan transformasi, tapi bagaimana kemudian ada pilihan-pilihan bahasa itu diekspresikan ya, meaning in social context dalam konteks-konteks sosial. So Halliday's approach see sentences as choices ya. Jadi ini yang kita keluarkan ini adalah pilihan-pilihan gitu ya, that serve different function yang kemudian berbeda fungsinya. Ada ideational tadi yang three metalingual ya, metalinguistik ada 3 meta bahasa menurut Halliday. Yang pertama ideational ya, kemudian interpersonal and textual. Tadi sudah dijelaskan dengan sangat baik to fulfill communication aims to explain how sentence structure syntax varies based on ya konteks and purpose. Jadi akan bervariasi berdasarkan konteks dan tujuannya. Focusing on how language operates in real life social situation. Jadi itu perbedaannya ya dengan TGG. Nah, ini example-nya sudah tadi ya, sentence variation, descriptive, emphasis on outcome dan segala macamnya, dan functional purpose ya. Nah, ini apa key differences-nya? TGG emphasizes underlying structures and transformation in the mind, focusing on grammatical correctness and rule-based sentence generation. SFL emphasizes language as a set of functional choices, yang 3 tadi, metalingual. Met in context, focusing on how syntax helps convey meaning for different social purposes. So in a sense, TGG looks at syntax as a set of rules for creating sentences, while SFL sees syntax as a toolkit ya for making communicative choices based on context. Jadi ini highlight dari saya, Bapak Ibu. Thank you. Saya stop share. Sekarang kita masuk ke your middle test ya. Jadi mungkin good news for you, tes kita, middle test kita berbasis project ya Bapak Ibu. Jadi dikerjakan start from now until the time of middle test. Bapak Ibu sudah tahu kapan kita middle testnya? Tanggal berapa?
Hari Sabtu tanggal
Iya, Sabtu tanggal berapa, Pak?
31.
Oh, 31 ya kita ya. Itu udah akurat ya, Pak? Oke, saya
Sudah akurat.
Iya, saya sudah siapin sebelum ngecek ininya ya, belum bukanya. 3, berarti 31 Oktober ya? 31st Oktober. Ya, nanti saya akan share. Berarti ada berapa lama, berapa pekan? 2, 6, sepekan ya? Oke. Nanti 31 Oktober itu adalah pengumpulannya, submission ya dari proyek Bapak Ibu. Jadi silakan dioptimalkan dari sekarang sampai nanti 31st ya, 31 Oktober. Karena memang waktunya hanya 2 jam ya, kalau tidak salah saya 2,5 jam untuk untuk mengerjakan soal. 2,5 ya, 2,5 Pak, kalau nggak salah itu. Ya. Dan itu tidak mungkin tercover untuk semua materi kita yang sangat banyak. Jadi kami bersepakat untuk menjadikan ini project based saja. Dan yang tahun-tahun lalu juga project based Bapak Ibu. Karena nggak mungkin menanyakan hanya definisi dan segala macam ya. Ini kan sudah levelnya adalah magister ya. Jadi kita project based. Oke, saya akan share untuk informasi sebentar. Where is it? Nah ini TS share. Oke. Ini cukup terlalu besar ini. Ya ini ya Bapak Ibu, project based. Nah ini project brief, students will conduct a small scale but comprehensive linguistic research project. Jadi walaupun dia mini research ya, tapi dia mengcover apa ya, integrate theoretical knowledge from ancient to modern linguistic. Our first topic ya Bapak Ibu, dari topik yang pertama sampai sekarang ya, sampai SFL perspektif. Dia ada mencakup semua yang sudah kita bahas sebelumnya. Nah, ini ada two text ya. Ini adalah bahan ya, data yang akan Bapak Ibu analisis. Text 1 and text 2. Text 1-nya diambil dari Thomas Jefferson's ini statement atau speech sebetulnya. Itu dari tahun 1776 ya, 1776. Sementara teks 2 itu adalah the speech of Barack Obama. Itu January 21st 2013 ya. Jadi terlihat ya Bapak Ibu ya, kurun waktu yang apa ya, kita sebutnya membedakan ya, dua teks ini diproduksi. Satunya di 1776, satunya di 2013. Nah, kemudian project instruction ya. Yang pertama adalah historical linguistic, ya, ancient modern theory. Itu yang pertama. Identify and explain any archaic or classical phrasing found in text 1, ya, Jefferson. Discuss how these examples illustrate language change in terms of meaning, usage, and linguistic form. Okay. Then compare the rhetorical and syntactic structures of text 1 and text 2. How do these structural differences reflect changes in style, audience, and historical context? Jadi ini untuk materi yang pertama. Yang kedua, phonetics and phonology. Choose one sentence and record them. Jadi Bapak Ibu harus pilih satu kalimat, kemudian record. Bisa your own voice atau speakers, terserah siapa yang mau di record. Nah, use Pratt to analyze. Jadi ini menggunakan Pratt ya, yang sudah kita discuss juga. Consonant and vowel production. Jadi ada segmen untuk consonant and vowel. Jadi bukan syllable, tapi harus sudah masuk ke sounds ya, consonants and vowel. Only choose one sentence. Jadi nggak banyak, kan banyak ya Bapak Ibu nih teksnya. Only choose one sentence. Jadi satu kalimat saja. Nah, kemudian yang kedua physical aspect, ya choose 5 words, pilih 5 kata, bebas ya. Kemudian tentukan pitch-nya ya, frekuensinya, duration and intensity. Jadi 5 kata ya, dari sekian banyak kata yang ada. Oke, itu yang kedua. Next, morphological analysis, masuk kita ke morfologi. Identify 10 words. Jadi diambil 10 kata, bebas Bapak Ibu mau pilih yang mana. In text tentunya, dengan dipilih dari yang lain ya. Jadi kita refers to the text ya Bapak Ibu gitu. Jadi jangan keluar dari teks itu. Kemudian break each into morphemes ya, apakah free, bond, root atau affix. Kemudian classify them as derivational or inflectional, dan kemudian identify at least 2 word formation process. Jadi proses pembentukan kata apa yang ada di contoh-contoh yang Bapak Ibu ambil, at least itu adalah 2 ya. 2 saja boleh diambil gitu contohnya. Proses pembentukan kata-kata barunya apa saja. Kemudian 4 syntax. Nah, syntax kita ada terbagi 2 ya, TGG dan kemudian SFL. Untuk TGG, select one sentence from the paragraph, draw the surface structures trees. Nah, ya. Jadi silakan dibuat analisis structure trees dari sentence tadi. Cuma 1 ya. Kemudian identify and explain any transformation found in both text. Jadi yang satu kalimat dipilih untuk structure tree-nya. Nah, untuk yang kedua temukan transformasi apa saja yang mungkin ada di kedua teks tadi ya. Bentuk-bentuk transformasi apa saja yang bisa Bapak Ibu temukan di kedua teks tadi. Kemudian yang terakhir untuk SFL. Nah, itu tadi ya, field, tenor, and mode. Ya, ditentukan fieldnya apa, tenor, mode-nya apa. Tadi sudah saya jelaskan juga dan teman-teman sudah jelaskan juga sebelumnya. Kemudian identify theme and rhyme, right? And at least 2 clauses, untuk 2 klausa, Bapak Ibu ya. Kemudian conduct a transitive analysis ya, transitivity analysis. Ada materi, ada identify process type tadi sudah dijelaskan. Kemudian label participants and circumstances in each process. Kemudian terakhir, comment on how language choices reflect ideology and purpose. Ini sebetulnya sudah masuk tadi ya, bagaimana membaca kalimat tadi. Tadi kan sudah ditunjukkan ya oleh kelompok penyaji, bagaimana dia merefleksikan ideologi, tujuannya apa gitu ya, dengan analisis yang sudah kita lakukan sebelumnya. Any questions so far?
Ada
Ya.
Bu, izin
Ya, silakan Pak Tuh.
pertanyaannya terima kasih kesempatannya. Pertanyaannya itu, teks berarti diambil dari 2 contoh tadi, teks 1 dan teks 2, nggak keluar di situ Bu ya?
Iya, betul Pak.
Ya. Kemudian kapan kami bisa memperoleh soal ini?
Secepatnya, Pak. Saya akan langsung kirim.
Apakah lewat grup atau lewat bagaimana gitu?
Di grup aja, nanti saya kirim di grup. Nah,
Baik, ya.
jawabannya nanti yang disubmit di tanggal 31 ya, Pak, Bu ya.
Siap, siap. Ya, terima kasih, Dok.
Oke, ada lagi any question?
Izin bertanya, Bu.
Saya, Bu. Oke, satu-satu dulu. Bu Putri ya? Oke, silakan.
Ya, untuk jawabannya itu di typing atau tulis tangan, Ibu?
Typing. Nah, ini dia. Ya, saya belum bacakan ya. Submission requirements ya. Jadi jangan panjang-panjang ya, Bapak Ibu. Bapak Ibu silakan memakai AI karena tidak ada larangan untuk memakai AI. Tapi kan hanya diminta 2.500 ya. 2.500 sampai 3.000 words. Jadi terbayang ya Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi berarti diperas lagi menjadi pemahaman Bapak Ibu kemudian ditulis ulang. Oke. Kemudian attach supporting files, dan itu penting. Walaupun laporannya hanya 2.500 sampai 3.000 kata, Bapak Ibu, tapi harus ada attaching supporting files. Jadi lampiran untuk analisisnya itu di lampiran diletakkan ya, bukan di dalam teks itu, bukan di dalam penjelasannya, tapi sebagai attachment, sebagai lampiran. Part screenshot misalnya, kemudian synthetic tree diagramsnya ya, itu sebagai, dan morphological tablesnya itu ada di dalam lampiran. Oke, jadi tidak termasuk di 2.500 sampai 3.000 ini. Kemudian include citation for any theories or frameworks references, ya reference. Jadi masukkan citasi ya Bapak Ibu ya, atau teori-teori yang kemudian dijadikan framework untuk menjawab soal kita tadi itu. Kemudian assessment criteria ini penilaian dari teks Bapak Ibu jawabannya.